Around midnight, I was alone on a 2-lane back road, coming up on a bridge. I saw this quick flash, like something caught the light and disappeared. So I slowed down, and that's when my headlights found a person standing up on that bridge, in a place nobody stands unless something's wrong. And I remember thinking one word I didn't want to think. I stopped the truck, put my hazards on, and yelled up, "You okay?" He didn't hesitate. He yelled back, "No." And the second I heard his voice, I knew he wasn't a man. He was a kid. I'm sure most people wouldn't believe all the things I've seen on the road. 1,000,000+ miles on the road. You see some shit. So let me set this right. This wasn't a highway with traffic and people everywhere. This was a quiet 2-lane, the kind where the dark feels thick and the road feels like it belongs to you alone. There's nothing around to distract you. No billboards, no exits, no lights. Just road, trees, and that bridge cutting across the black. I pulled over fast, but controlled. Hazards on. And I sat there for a half second with my hands still on the wheel, thinking, what do you do? Because nobody trains you for that moment. Not in trucking school, not in life. You don't get a handbook that says if you see someone standing where they shouldn't be at midnight, you just get the moment. And I could have done what a lot of people would have done. Just kept driving. I could have convinced myself it wasn't my business. I could have thought, maybe they're just walking. Maybe it's nothing. I'm tired. I'm imagining things. But it's midnight. The road teaches you something you can't unlearn. When something feels off, it usually is. So I got out and called up. Not yelling like a cop, not screaming, just steady. "You all right up there?" And that's when he said it. No. That no hit me in the chest. Because adults hide pain and sarcasm, pride and silence. But kids tell the truth when they're out of options. And the second I heard him, I felt this wave of panic. Not for me, for him. Because a kid shouldn't be at the edge of his rope. He shouldn't be standing in the dark thinking he's out of choices. And I remember something else hitting me at the same time. That this was not a moment for perfection. This was a moment for presence. So I did the only thing I knew how to do. I talked to him like he mattered. I said, "Okay, I hear you. Don't move. Just talk to me for a second." And he didn't answer right away, but he stayed. And that was huge. Sometimes the first win is not fixing it. Sometimes the first win is just keeping someone in the conversation, keeping them here. Because when people get quiet in that kind of pain, that's when the danger gets loud. So I kept my voice steady. I asked him his name. I asked him how old he was. And I'm not going to put all his details out there. That's his life. But I will tell you this. He was young enough that when he cried, it sounded like somebody's child, not somebody's problem. somebody's kid. And obviously, I know something about this. If you listen to all of episode 14, you'd understand why this one hit me so hard. He told me his parents had been fighting. He didn't say it like a headline. He said it like he'd been living inside it for too long. Like the house wasn't a home anymore. Like every day felt like walking on broken glass. And then he said something that I think about more than anything else. He said he just had enough. And listen, people don't realize how heavy that sentence is coming from a kid. Because kids aren't supposed to be done. They're supposed to be annoying, hungry, asking for Wi-Fi, laughing at dumb stuff. They're not supposed to be standing at midnight trying to disappear. So I didn't hit him with some motivational speech. I didn't preach. I didn't tell him life is beautiful. Like that fixes anything. I said something simple. Something I believed with my whole chest. Look at me. You don't have to solve tonight permanently. I said, you don't have to decide your whole future from one painful moment. Because I know what it feels like when your mind starts telling you there's only one way out. And this is where my story comes in. Not the details, but the truth. I've been in places where you're alone with your thoughts, and they start sounding like facts. Places where you feel like nobody sees you. Places where you start thinking your pain is a private room nobody else can enter. And I've learned this the hard way, that pain is a liar. It makes the future look smaller than it is. It makes tomorrow look impossible. So I told him, give me the next 5 minutes. That's all. Just 5 minutes. And he started talking more. Not clean, not logical, just raw. And that's what I needed. Because raw means alive. Raw means he still had something in him fighting. Little by little, he moved. Not fast, not dramatic, but enough that I knew the moment was shifting. And then it happened. He came down. When his feet hit the ground, his whole body changed. Like the adrenaline faded, and the reality hit him all at once. He started crying, hard, and I'm gonna say something that matters. Crying is not weakness. Crying is the pressure leaving the system. That's the body saying, I'm still here. I didn't tell him to stop. I didn't tell him to be a man. I told him the truth. It's okay. Let it out. You're safe right now. And I meant it. I knew there was a truck stop coming up in about 5 miles. And here's the part I know some people will judge. I offered him a ride. Not because I wanted to play hero. Because I wanted him away from that bridge. And away from being alone. So I said, ride with me. We'll go up here, sit somewhere bright, get warm, talk for a minute. And he hesitated, but he got in. And those 5 miles felt longer than most trips I've taken. Because I'm driving, keeping it smooth, keeping him calm, but my mind is racing. What if he shuts down again? What if he bolts? What if I'm making the wrong call? But I also knew this. Leaving him there, even if he said he was okay, didn't feel right. Because when someone is that close to a cliff emotionally, okay is fragile. So I kept him talking gently, not interrogating, just staying present. And the more he talked, the more it became clear. He didn't actually want to do anything. He didn't want to die. He wanted the pain to stop. Those are different. And when someone wants the pain to stop, the most powerful thing you can give them is a different option. Not a lecture, an option. I eventually got his mom's number, and before I called, I asked him, "Is it okay if I call her?" He nodded, so I called. And I said the only words that mattered in that moment. "I'm here with your son. He's safe." I'll never forget how her voice changed. You could hear relief punch through the fear. You could hear guilt behind the relief. You could hear love trying to hold itself together. And she started asking questions fast. "Who are you? Where are you? Is he okay? What happened?" And I kept it simple. He's okay right now. He's with me. He's safe. When she arrived at the truck stop, I didn't make it a scene. I didn't do the "look what I did" thing. I pulled her aside, away from him, because I didn't want him to hear adults talking about him like he was a problem. And I told her something that I hope she remembers. Don't punish him for surviving tonight. But I also said, don't brush this off. Don't turn it into anger. This is bigger than a bad night. And I'm not claiming to be some professional. I'm just someone who knows what one small decision can do to a future. One small decision can destroy a life or save it. I drove away after that because my job wasn't to become part of their family. My job was the moment on the bridge. And I still think about him sometimes. I still wonder how he's doing. I still wonder if that night changed anything. And yeah, part of me worries, did I do it right? But then I come back to my only truth that matters. He was alive when I left. And if you're listening to this right now, if you're hurting, if you feel alone, if your thoughts are loud, I want you to hear this from someone who's lived long enough to know. You don't have to solve tonight permanently. Give yourself the next 5 minutes, then the next 5. And if you can't do it alone, talk to somebody, a friend, a parent, anyone. Because pain will tell you you're a burden, but the truth is you're a person, and people are allowed to need help. That night on the bridge, he said no, and I'm grateful I didn't keep driving. Because sometimes the road doesn't test your driving. Sometimes it tests your humanity.